Word. Keywords. Let's get right to it. For me, at least, the keywords in Lightroom are the way that I find things down the road that are extremely specific. If you haven't seen the episode that I've done on importing, there's a link in the description below. In that episode, you'll see that I actually start the whole keywording during importing with things that have consistency across the entire import. So if someplace like Los Angeles has been the location for every picture being imported, in that episode, you'll see that and California have been applied to all of the pictures at import. Nothing else is consistent, though, through those, so I end up leaving everything else for later. I'm going to show you a quick peek, though, at least, at how I keyword and some of the quicker ways that you can go through keywording to try to expedite your whole process. Let's get going on it. Now I'm going to start out right by just choosing what I want to keyword, and the other day I ended up bringing in images from February 26th all the way through March 20th. So let's just select those folders over here, and then you can see all the pictures we brought in. And there's things from the Broad Museum, Flea Market, Griffith Observatory, all the way through some night shots down in downtown Los Angeles. To see the keyword panel over here, I have mine hidden. I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to click the little triangle, and that's going to open up mine. I've gone into my preferences and I've actually made it to where that hides most of the time. I'm going to click it again, just to kind of solidify that so we can see all of these. It's not going to ghosted through. And you can see that California, Los Angeles have already been applied, and that was from the import. You can see my selected image down here in the brighter gray. And I'm going to go to the last one within there, hold down Shift, click, and it fills in all those in-betweens for me. Now that these are all highlighted, I can come over to either the click here to add keywords just below, or I can go into the actual keyword box. Let's do that. And you can see that California and Los Angeles are separated by a comma. That's how Lightroom knows that Los Angeles is one keyword rather than two keywords. It sees California as a word, and it also sees it as an independent keyword. I put a comma, and then rather than seeing Los and Angeles as two separate words, it sees this as an individual keyword if I hit comma. And then I'm going to just type downtown. And that's going to at least put downtown Los Angeles in there for me. This was taken at night. I might as well actually go back there, comma, night. Now, this is a picture that was taken at night along with, click back on that little guy. We can go all the way up to the beginning of the Griffith here. Silhouetted people. I'm going to hold down Shift again and just fill in all of those in-between points. And you can see over here in the box now for keywords how there's an asterisk behind downtown and behind night. The reason there's an asterisk is because there's a keyword that is not shared by every one of those pictures. It could be one of those pictures doesn't have it. It could be a myriad of them. In this case, night, I do want to apply to all of these. So rather than go and trying to like re-highlight or go through and type on all these, I can actually just open up the box, erase the asterisks, and now night has been applied to all of the pictures from the Griffith Observatory. Click on any of these here, you'll see night. And then all the way through those, of course, night shots that we started with from there. Don't worry, you really haven't set anything in stone. The majority of these pictures were taken at night. Some of them were taken at blue hour. In fact, if I look right around kind of this cusp here, you can really start to see the darkening of the sky as we go from blue hour into true night. Let's find kind of just an easy area to say, okay, blue hour, night, easy to define. Now I can go in and say this picture all the way through the beginning of my blue hour shots here. I'll do the same, hold Shift. Those actually weren't at night, and I don't want night in there. Maybe I want to change that to blue hour. So I can actually click in the box, I can erase night. It now takes away the night designation, and I can actually type in blue hour. So it's not set in stone. You can change things at any time, you can update things, you can do it for multiple images or a single image. This is one of the ways to add keywords. There's a couple other quick ways to do it. You've seen it trying to autofill for me. If there's previous entries that you've used, the autofill is going to try to kick in and work that for you. There's also just below keyword suggestions. I'm going to open up that little arrow. And in the keyword suggestions here, so it's going to try to look within the folder, within the different folders you've highlighted, see keywords and maybe even how many times those keywords have been used, and then suggest them for you. So I could go through and click, let's say USA. And it will then, comma, USA, adding it as a separate keyword for me in that list. Now I'm going to scroll down here a little bit, and there's keyword sets. Keyword sets are also things that you might use more frequently. The little indicator here will show you things that are more commonly used in either different types of photography, or you can have different presets saved also. So if you're a wedding shooter or you like shooting still lifes, you can have things saved that you might use more regularly to label those. Now, keyword lists down here, this is every single keyword you have ever used. If you have something that has been applied to one of the photographs that's in front of you. So let's just say this one right here. This one we know has California in it, so let's just go straight down to California. You can see the check next to that showing me that this in fact has California labeled as one of the keywords. And then there are 1,087 pictures that I have in my catalog with the labeling of California currently. If there's another keyword that I want to add to this, I can do a couple things to do so. Let's add night back to that just to make it easy. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down. And since this is the only selected photo currently, when I click that, it'll add and you'll see the check. Now with that removed, I can also take the word night, drag it onto that. It'll add the word night. You can see the check is now applied. Let's get rid of it again one more time. The other way to do this is to just grab the actual picture and drag it over and drop it on the word night, and it'll apply that. That's one of the things I really like about Lightroom is no matter how you think, no matter how your brain kind of functions, there's usually 3 or 4 ways to approach most things in Lightroom. So like this in keywording, you can type it, you can go to a previous list, you can go to suggestions of things around it. Even here you have options like checking it, dragging it in 2 different directions. Whichever way works more fluidly for you, it's going to let you work. So once you kind of have an idea of Lightroom, the way it operates, its foundation, that gives you a much more leeway to kind of work within your parameters for the way Lightroom is set up. The other way to do this is going to be something that we used in the ratings episode. If you haven't seen the ratings episode, I'll toss a link down there in the description below. In that episode, we went down and we grabbed this little paint can. In that, we ended up applying a 1-star rating to images that we wanted to look more closely at before we really put time into them. In this case, open that and say keywords, and then we can type in the keyword that we actually want here. So let's say it's Griffith Observatory, for instance, that we want to do that. I can come here and I can type in Griffith Observatory. Now, that's, remember, 1 keyword, 2 separate words. And now I just have to come up and paint on the actual image the keyword that I want here. The frame isn't going to do anything to apply this, so going to the actual picture is required to apply the keyword. Now these were all at Griffith. Go through here really quickly, finish out my spray canning. I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the spray can back. You have to do this or else your cursor remains that and you can accidentally apply keywords or ratings or whatever you were applying previously. So make sure to plop back that little guy. Now just to give you an idea of how in-depth I will actually go sometimes with these, let's go to a picture that I've actually spent some time on. So we have Blue Hour already, we have California, we have Griffith Observatory, we have Los Angeles, USA. At least at this point, silhouettes. I've typed that before and you can see it autofilling. So if I want to use that, I can hit enter, it'll save that, comma. This is a sunset still in the background. All right. Now, I'm going to get really specific in this one. We have reflections. We have people. We have people taking pictures. We have somebody in a wheelchair. We've got city lights, city view. All of these things are just individual to this image, and if I do need to search down the road, I have the ability to go through and find any of these. So to give you an idea, if I want to search for something specific, I can go to filters up here. Now, if you don't see that, there might be a couple of reasons. You could be in loop view where you're looking at a single picture, and you have to be in grid view to see this. So you can hit G to get back to grid view, and that's a shortcut. Or you may have grazed the shortcut to make that disappear, which is the backslash just above your return or enter key, depending on if you're PC or Mac. And if you hit the backslash, you'll see that hide and come back. And let's say that I want to find a picture from Norway. Now, I know that I've taken some from 2019. Let's go and we'll make this a little more challenging here. We'll go to all photographs, and you can see in my catalog that I have 80,263 photographs currently. If I click that, it brings up all of those. And I can now go and I can say, show me under text. And I can either go to any searchable field, because it's looking for all text within pictures, or I could really be specific and say, just show me keywords. Let's just leave all searchable fields for now. Photographs that are only from Norway. And now it's picking out the pictures that I've actually labeled appropriately Norway. And you'll see a lot of variation here because there's quite a few trips I've had to Norway. I've seen quite a few things there. But specifically right now, let's say I want to look for the Northern Lights. So I'm still in my search field up here. If you're not, you can go ahead and click back up there. It'll reopen that. And then I'm going to hit comma, space. And now it knows that I'm looking for another keyword. Northern Lights. Now you see pretty much anything with Northern Lights and Norway labeled out of all of those 80,000 photos comes up in front of me here. So it gives you a really easy ability to search through all of your images and find things as long as you're specific and able to keep labeling these. This is also an evolution for me though. So far we've done import-based keywording. We've done post-import keywording with, okay, I'm going through these right now at least and narrowing it down a bit, and now the ones that I really put time into, I'm going to keyword the snot out of. So let's say that there's a picture I take and I've keyworded on that picture, bird, building, there's maybe like an impressive cloud behind there, so I've got cumulonimbus cloud, and the sun is setting and hitting that cloud, so you see sunset. So we've got a pretty specific labeling there, but let's say I'm scrolling through 2 years later, and in that time I've learned that that bird is a bluebird, and that isn't in my keywords. I might go in there and label bluebird now, so that way that bluebird is labeled. I can come back and scroll through for days and days and days and look for a bluebird picture if somebody asks. Or when I go through to use my filter, it'll instantly bring that up because I'm letting that keywording evolve with my Lightroom itself, with my usage of this program. So go back every now and then if you see something that is, let's say, an image that you do like, that you've shown quite a bit and it's not keyworded, keyword it. If you notice that maybe the keywording isn't as robust as you'd like and you want to make sure that you can find these things in the future, go for it. Really get into it. You can make sure these do not export, so it's only there for your searchability. And when it comes to keywording, remember that. It's your searchability. So if there's something in there that's going to help you remember this, put it in that keyword area. That's the goal here. You're going to hopefully be able to find these things years to come when you have 80,000, 100,000, all of the pictures that you've taken. We've all heard that old adage before, A picture's worth 1,000 words. There's no excuse then for you to not be putting a lot of different keywords on the photos that you love and that you like to share. I've showed you some of the insights in how to keyword, some of the quicker ways to do so. Now, it's really up to you to make sure that not only are you keywording, but you're keeping up with that keywording. That's what's going to make sure that down the road, you have no problem following this. Speaking of following this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button below, so that way you can keep up with all the newest episodes of the Lightroom Whisperer. Thanks for watching.